Welcome to the Sibling Rivalry channel. My name is Aaron, and today I'm going to share with you a family recipe that we've had for a few generations now to make the ultimate chocolate truffles for your holiday experience.
Bon appetit!
At its heart, this recipe is actually very simple. At its base, it's just this heavy whipping cream, 35% is what we're using here, and we're using chocolate chips. We use Chip It brand because that was what we had available, and we like the taste of Chip Its. If you wanted to do a vegan option, you could use coconut milk instead, and that would work as a substitute for the whipping cream. But realistically, this is a very simple recipe. What all of the other components here are for is just garnish and to kind of make it a little more, well, easier to eat, I guess is the best way to describe it. So, and in case you're wondering what this is doing here, we've got a steel bowl and just a stock pot, and we are going to be using this as a makeshift double boiler because we don't have like a fancy professional double boiler. So if you're not familiar with how double boilers work, it's a way for you to melt a, say like a chocolate or something similar without having to expose it directly to heat. So what you'd do is you'd fill up this pot with water, not necessarily fill it up, but you put it probably about half full with water, and then set this bowl in there. You put this on your burner, on your stove or your range, and then you would put whatever you're melting in here. So we actually did candles with this a little while back using a similar method. You can also do body butter with it, and we'll probably do a video on that in the future once we've got the recipe perfected. And yeah, for today we're doing this so that the chocolate doesn't burn and you don't get all the weird interactions of chocolate. Chocolate does weird stuff when it's heated up. So yeah, we'll get started. So this recipe is really simple. Essentially, you're just doing 8 ounces of chocolate chips for each 2/3 of a cup of heavy cream. So I am going to just get started here. I'm going to set this slightly out of the way so that I have better access to my implements here. So we've just moved the camera here to give you a better view of what I'm working on, because we realize that a crowded table isn't necessarily a very clean visual space. So what I'm going to use here is just any cup. You could use a bowl or anything, and a kitchen scale, and we're just going to set it on there before we turn on the scale and zero it so that it zeroes with this in place. And then we're going to measure out 8 ounces of chocolate chips, and we're just going to use this pre-opened bag that we had on hand before, and just measure out. Oh, I should probably set this to ounces actually. Okay, there we go. There's ASMR. Okay, that's like 0.9 ounces. Maybe I need a bigger bowl. So I just got Val to grab me a bigger bowl, and we're gonna dump this in. We've just re-zeroed everything. So we're at 7.3, actually 7.2 apparently. Drop those chips in. No, 7.3 now. Ooh. Let's go slow and steady. Oh, that's a little too much. There we go, 8 even. So there it is. 1 portion. And now we are going to do 2/3 cups. So let's grab the 1/3 cup here. If you're wondering why this set of measuring cups looks kind of odd, we accidentally broke one of these when we were making like a body scrub bar. We were trying out a recipe, and apparently shea butter is much harder than people give it credit for. So we're down a cup, but at least we're good to go with this anyways. So as you can see, I have never opened this before. This is a third cup, a third of a cup. So I'm going to do 2 of these directly into there. So I'm actually going to bring this bowl over here. Make the visual space even more of a mess. There's 1. And there is 2. Okay, whatever. Table's gonna get dirty. Relatively speaking. So there's that. And mix it around. And we're gonna do pretty much as we can with the ingredients we have. So we might jump ahead a little bit. We're gonna essentially make as many batches as we can because we're giving these to family members and friends as kind of a thank you for helping us out this past year. There we go. There's that. So there's another 8 grams. Keeping the visual space great. Yeah. For some reason, it always weirds me out how viscous heavy cream is, considering it's cream. It is like, obviously it's like 35% fat content. So like, obviously it's going to be thick, but it just always seems odd to me that like visually it even looks really viscous. Yep, smells like cream. So let's do this. Okay, so that's about 2 grams. We're gonna set this off to the side here for throwing out. Dear Hershey's, make your rip tabs uniform. You could perforate it. It would be great. Or you could score it. That would be great too. Do score bars come with the tab scored? Cricket noise. All right. Let me just get your hands right in there. Remember, anyone who's watching this, who's getting these, my hands were in this. While the chocolate and cream are combining on the stovetop, I'm going to take these candy canes we bought at our local dollar store and crush them into powder or chips using our blender. So sponsor us, Ninja. We love you. So I'm going to open these up. No one gets the choo choo pickle pie I get. I bet, if anyone actually watches this. Comment down below if you get where that comes from. So I'm going to be here shucking candy canes for a while. Probably don't need too many. Probably just take like half the box. I guess, yeah, we can just use the whole box like Val said, and we can just store the rest of it. It's not like it's going to go bad. It's candy canes. Yeah. And Val and I don't really like candy canes. It's like a weird thing. Like a lot of people just love candy canes and go like apey over them. I have never really been interested in them. I mean, I'll eat them if there's no other sugar nearby and I'm like, I got a hankering for the sugar. But yeah, I mean, it's like the most boring candy ever. Next to like those caramel like Werthers. Next to Werthers, which is like grandparent blood cells, as people say. So let's see if we can open these without like a huge thing. Yeah?
Tell us a fun chocolate fact.
Did you know that the melting point of chocolate, I almost said boiling point of chocolate, the melting point of chocolate is body temperature? That's a joke for our other sister, who is out in Nova Scotia. So if you're watching this, we love you. Here, I'll sing you guys a Christmas song.
It's Christmas time, there's no need to be afraid. At Christmas time, we let in light and we banish shade. And in a world of pain, we can share a smile of joy. Spread your arms around the world, it's Christmas time.
And that's where I'm going to end there because, like,
We're getting sued.
yeah, we're going to get sued.
Dashing through the snow on a one-horse open sleigh, o'er the hills we go, crashing all the way. Bells on bobtails ring, making spirits fly. What fun it is to laugh and sing a sleighing song tonight. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. A day or two ago, I thought I'd take a ride, and soon Miss Fanny Bright was seated by my side. The horse was lean and lank, misfortune seemed its lot. He got into a drifted bank and then we got upset. Oh, jingle jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
Now, these are some sketchy-ass candy canes. In the spirit of Christmas, please like and subscribe. Every like and subscribe helps a starving white boy in Toronto.
Every time a subscription happens,
Every time the bell rings, an Aaron gets to eat. Wow, I managed to get a whole candy cane out intact. That's like a Christmas miracle, Charlie Brown. I'm gonna blend. Yeah.
this is gonna end badly.
Let's pulse this. Yeah. It's like candy cane dust. Now it's time for us to crush some nuts. And we're going to use our Ninja Blender for that. Please sponsor us, Ninja Blender, because we're definitely demonetized now. So, let's get these walnuts in here. You could use other types of nuts if you wanted. Probably not pine nuts. That would be kind of weird. But, yeah. And we're just going to take the top off of this thing of Candy-caine powder that holds its shape pretty well. Seems like something an elf would to get through the holidays. Is that what Will Ferrell did during the filming of Elf? Actually, that smells really nice, to be honest. I'm not going to snort it, but... There we go. And these are going to be minty nuts. Val's just quietly saying, "Oh no," just like the look, the grimace on her face. So, let's go.
That's good.
I'm gonna do one more pulse because the inside isn't quite chopped. There we go. We now have chopped minty nuts. Chef Aaron here. I had my sous chef, Valerie, watching the chocolate in the kitchen while I had my whole monologue on nuts and candy cane. So, as you can see here, the chocolate is nice and smooth and velvety, and it just runs. Unfortunately, it is incredibly hot as of right now, so we're going to have to cool it down. So what we're going to do is actually just load this into the fridge. We're going to put a cover on it. We're going to use saran wrap, but if you're using an actual proper double boiler, you could... Sorry, I'm fixating on the chocolate. It looks amazing. If you're using an actual proper double boiler, you could use the lid that comes with that. Usually they come with a lid. If yours didn't come with a lid, talk to your manufacturer because it should have come with a lid. You could also, if you're doing something like us, you could put like a plate or something over top of it. Essentially, you just want to prevent airflow so that the chocolate doesn't temper in a weird way. So, like I said, we're going to put this in the fridge for a few hours. We're going to come back to it once it's hardened up, and we'll continue the process from there. As you can tell here, it is the next day. You can probably tell by my shirt. If you've seen the reveal for the new Resident Evil, looks really good. Yeah, so we let this rest in the fridge overnight, just so it get like a nice even cool to it. It is firm yet malleable. So what we're going to be doing is using this ice cream scoop to scoop out sections of the mix. We're going to shape it on this silicone mat, and then we're going to, once we've got them shaped into little balls, we're going to roll them in our various toppings. So what we've got here is the cocoa you saw before, the walnuts that I ground up, the candy-cane mix that Val is calling candy cocaine because it's just like a powder, and when I filled this up, yeah, candy cane.
But spelled differently.
Yeah, it's spelled like cocaine. So, yeah, because like when we filled up this ramekin, it just kind of like shot a plume into the air, like something out of like an 80s film. The office of an 80s Hollywood exec. So, and we also have these vaguely holiday themed sprinkles we got at the dollar store. So,
No, we didn't.
yeah, we got them at the dollar store. That's why they have a dollar store thing on them. Dollar store. That was arguing with me over that. So, yeah. There, we'll roll them in that as well, and we've got some boxes that we'll package everything up in later. Once we've completed the shaping and rolling and everything, we're going to put them in some resealable containers and put them in the fridge so that they firm up again, and then we'll repackage them into the fancy packaging and give them to friends and family. So let's get started. I'm going to take a scoop. And we're going to take this. I'm going to set this off to the side. And you just kind of roll these into balls. Oh, that is way too big. And it's getting really soft. Like poop. Oh, that should be a good size. And we'll do this. Just kind of throw it in there, toss it around. Traditionally, like our family recipe, we do this just with cocoa powder. So we shape it into a ball.
You don't have to re-roll it.
Yeah, I shouldn't have re-rolled it there. That was a bad idea. You can tell I've definitely done this a lot. I think it's actually my first time doing this in a while. Val has kind of taken over the lead of making the truffles every year. It's just gonna be a huge mess. Nothing's gonna look pretty afterwards. There's that. Yeah, it's all chocolate anyways. Okay, let's get this out of there. And make sure you wash your hands before you do this. So, helps if you have the anemones for it or whatever, or amenities. You can use a marble slab or something chilled to put this on, and it'll turn out a little nicer. So there's the walnut 1. There's the walnut 2. It's less round, more turd shaped. Why be mature when... Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Yeah, it's just gonna be a huge mess. The anxiety coming across Val's face right now is just like... There's that. And I don't know if I said this in the previous part of this, like earlier. Our family calls these Bobo Balls. It's just, I don't know where that came from. It's just kind of like what we call them. And I didn't know that they were chocolate truffles until I was like a teenager. I thought they were just called Bobo Balls. I remember talking to someone about these things that we have at Christmas every year. Bobo Balls. They're so good. They're chocolate. And they're like this, and I roll it. And someone was like, hey, yeah, I think my family does a similar sort of thing. I'm like, no, they're not Bobo Balls. Yeah, you know, kids. We would leave these out for Santa as kids. And instead of cookies, because cookies were kind of boring. As an adult, cookies are good. We also used to do drinks instead of milk for Santa. So we would do various things of alcohol, and I was really big into this game called The Secret of Monkey Island. It's like a LucasArts game. And there's a drink in it called grog, and it's like pirate. The whole thing is pirate based. So they've got their grog, and it's just a mixture of all these various things. So like my dad has this whole liquor cabinet, because he's kind of a connoisseur of alcohol, I guess. So this one year I'm like, I'm gonna make grog for Santa. So I like mixed like almost everything out of the the liquor cabinet. This is like me as like a 9-year-old, and like mix everything in the liquor cabinet. No idea of mixology or how to combine things. I think Santa only drank like a nip of that grog that year. Probably wasn't very palatable. So, what traditions do you guys have for Santa? You, your kids, your families? You do carrots for the reindeers? I know we used to do that. I think we stopped doing that because we had the carrots go bad a few times before. We would like buy them preemptively, and then yeah, after that we were just kind of like, we'll leave cookies for the reindeers. They're magic anyways, so they can do whatever they need. So let's do this. Make a huge mess. Making a mess takes a little longer. Okay, record.
It just like shapes to every contour.
Smile with your brown teeth.
Hi, welcome back from the past or the future, I don't know. One or the other. Doesn't really matter, time's a flat disk. So, I and these have both chilled for a few hours. These in the fridge, me, I can't go in the fridge because I need air. But yeah, so they're all ready to go. Let me show you these. And we got these cute little containers at our dollar store. Try not to spill these on the ground. Yeah, we got the containers at the dollar store, so it's just like a little plastic thing. It's pretty cute. Yeah, they're great for gift giving. Like, that's kind of, we were looking for like tins and stuff to give these in, and we found these, and we were like, wow, that's even better than what we were expecting. So, one thing you want to keep in mind with these is, because there's a lot of cream in the truffle, you need to keep these chilled in some sense, either cool or like frozen. And that'll keep them from just turning into like puddles like you saw dripping down my arm. So you want to make sure you do that. That's actually going to be a bit of a challenge for us to figure out how we're going to get these to our family gathering, because we're going like on a 6-hour train ride for Christmas. So that's going to be fun. Chugga 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 choo choo. But yeah, that about covers it for this video before I start going insane again. Yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you had a good time watching me slowly devolve into madness. If you liked the video, please give us a thumbs up. We really appreciate it. Comment down below if you've got any suggestions for different toppings or how we can manage to get these on a 6-hour train ride with 2 dogs and a whole bunch of stuff and a partridge in a pear tree. Yeah, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. We really appreciate that. And if you are subscribed, make sure you ring the bell for notifications so that you don't miss out on our videos. We're doing our Advent series until the end of Advent, which is the 24th. And we are also doing regular content updates on Mondays, and we're doing bonus content on Thursdays. So thanks again for watching. I hope you have a great day.